Grandmaster PsiOps Moon Battleground is actually not as hard as you might think, assuming you follow this guide, of course. So here's exactly how you beat it. For builds, just screenshot whatever class you intend to play. In my personal opinion, the strike is absolutely miserable without an Invis Omnioculus Hunter, so I recommend bringing a minimum of 1, preferably 2 if possible. For Warlocks, the other class I recommend for this strike, Phoenix Protocol with Well of Radiance spam makes getting through the entire pre-boss portion of the strike really easy to do within about 10 to 15 minutes. As for Titans, I feel that they are the weakest class for this. However, if it is by far your most comfortable, you can't go wrong with Strand Ambient Leap. For weapons, I highly recommend all 3 players rock Wish Ender for the barriers, a glaive or hand cannon along with the seasonal mod for unstoppables, and a Void or Arc single shot linear fusion rifle to align with the strike elemental surge modifiers. Now before we get into the step-by-step guide, please do me a favor by liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you enjoy helpful Destiny content like this video. With that out of the way, run the strike exactly like this. In all seriousness though, this is definitely one of the hardest GMs we've ever had. I'm not entirely sure if it's harder than Lightblade. It's more time consuming than Lightblade, but I'm not sure if I would say it's harder because with the strategies that we're going to be going over in this video, it makes it super safe and borderline impossible to wipe. So we'll just kind of start off this beginning section. The beginning section, you're going to feel like you're in here for like 9 hours. So just do your best to make your way through it. Inch up a little bit to spawn additional enemies. We're just mapping them from far away with our Wish Enders. Got a little Barrier Knight there who got completely chunked. I don't know how he got hit that hard. Then we got our Linears as well, which we can use. Absolutely eviscerate the Barrier Knight. We're just picking off everything, slowly spawning everything. And we're basically just trying to load up our supers. Because with 2 tethers and 1 Well of Radiance, with a Phoenix Protocol, we basically always have our supers up. Because we're just constantly chaining orbs, the regen from Phoenix Protocol, giving it half of it back every single time. So it's just you have a lot of super energy consistently going. I don't think anything was hit by my tether, actually, because I think my tether was on, like, the wall. But we should have the Well of Radiance up here, and we can end up putting it down. Use the other tether if we have it as well. Looking to stun the Unstop. Got to be really careful of the bolts on the Hive ship. So the bolts on the Hive ship, you can actually shoot out the guns. So we're just going to look to shoot out the guns on the Hive ship. And eventually they'll break off. If you have some Thrall coming, we're safe in the well though. And you'll just notice that the gun is gone when it stops shooting the void balls, so that one on the left is gone. You'll always get hit markers on them. So even if they're dead, you'll still get hit markers, but yep. And then here's where we tether. And again, it's a super spam constantly. See, I already have my tether back up from when I used it previously. I'd reckon we're getting pretty close to having a new well back up as well, so chipping away at all these guys, trying to hit the ones in the tether so that they spread damage. Yeah, we literally already have a well back up. Phoenix Protocol is an absolute gem for this. And I'm going to bomb my tether actually real deep back there and try and hit this Unstop as well. My aim's not very good. We're just going to try and sauce this Unstop. We're just going to keep chipping away at everything while we're in the well, because obviously for Phoenix, for those that don't know how Phoenix actually works, you have to get the kills while you're in the well to refund at least half of it. And then you'll send one of your Invis Hunters for this Hive Guardian Knight. Make sure you run up and get a finisher on it, otherwise it'll respawn. And then we can start making our way back again. And we're at about 3 minutes right now. I know you can't see the timer. Well, I guess you'll be able to see the timer in the YouTube video, right? But just slowly working our way up constantly with the well. Chipping away at everything. This section is very safe as long as you continue utilizing that well to the best of your ability. I'm going to pop a tether up there, even though there's not a ton of enemies. Just because we have it, and we get it back so quickly with all the orb gen that we have going on. There's a lot of heavy ammo around here as well, so feel free to make good use of your linears. Don't need to be shy with those. Keep nailing stuff. Got another Unstop. Just get crouch with the glaives, and then again, heavy ammo. And then when you're in the well, actually, we do get anti-barrier when we're in the well. I don't know why I said it like that. Anti-barrier when we're in the well. So you can also break through the Hive Barrier Guardian Night Shields while you're in the well with the linears too. And we're going to jump on these rocks, make our way back down. And then we have 2 Barrier Knights right here. So we can try and drop a little tether action. And then we do have some Thrall that are going to be here as well, so we want to be a little careful. Although we have a Well of Radiance, so I'm not particularly worried about them killing us. Slowly working our way up. There is a ton of champions in this strike, but the benefit of having a ton of champions is obviously that you also get a ton of res tokens, so I guess, you know, a little good, a little bad. And I'm trying to remember where all the heavy boxes are, because there's a fair amount of heavy boxes throughout the strike that you can use to replenish your ammo, but I don't remember exactly where all of them are, so... Actually, I'm going the wrong way there. And we're just making our way down here. You can play a Titan in the strike, by the way, if you want to, but I feel like Warlocks and Hunters definitely get the most value. You definitely want at least one Invisible Hunter, mainly for this part. This is the part where Invis Hunter comes in huge. Because being able to go invisible to grab the tributes to go dunk them is absolutely priceless, and it's going to make this section a lot easier. This section is probably one of the most annoying parts of the strike just because of how many enemies are continuously spawning. There's a heavy crate right there, so after this section, I guess you can go pick up a heavy crate. And then here we're going to want to kind of try and work on the champions. And I believe since I stunned him as he was jumping, I don't think he's actually going to be stunned. And remember, you can exit this room if you'd like to, kind of play back here if you feel like you're in a bad spot, or if you need your invis cooldowns to come back or anything like that. You're never forced to stay in this room for any certain amount of time. So we're just focusing the champions. Every time you dunk a ball, you'll get a couple of champions to spawn. So we're just working our way down on the champions. I kind of ignore the Hive Guardians a little bit because you can play these back right and left corners of the room and you're pretty safe from the Hive Guardians. So I kind of just pretend like they don't exist. And I just focus the champions and the wizards to get the tributes. So we're going to work on this Barrier Knight now. Drop that Acolyte. And you can collect and dunk multiple burdens of tributes from the wizards at the same time, by the way. You can hold a maximum of 3. So what you can actually do is you can roam the arena and kill multiple wizards. They're all marked with the little kill symbol. And then collect a bunch of tributes before you actually send your Invis Hunter player to go dunk them. So I'll go ahead and pick this one up, and then we have another tribute bear that spawns. So the idea is you'll kind of have your 1 to 2 Invis Hunters roaming around the arena, grabbing the tributes, while your other players are sat in the back of the map, staying safe, chipping away at the wizards for you. So now I've got 3 burdens, so I can run over here to middle and finish this middle area, which means all we're going to have left to dunk is going to be the left and right ones. And this is where you're going to start to get a couple more champions, and you're going to get a Shrieker after you complete every plate. So the Shrieker is the #1 focus, obviously, because that dude's going to hurt the most. So best place to play here is probably to back out a little bit. It's only a red bar Shrieker, so it's not particularly tanky. So that's going to be step #1 for this room. And then you'll slowly work your way back in. Again, we don't care too much about the Hive Guardians. You can kill them if you want to, but if you just play these like back corners, you're not in too much danger from them as long as you just keep an eye on where they are. Because there's a lot of cover that you can hide behind here, and in my experience, they never run up to you. So we're just going to kind of play back here, and we can always use the well if we want to. So we're just dropping the wizards, mapping them with our wish enders, making their tributes drop for the Invis Hunter players. Status is another Invis Hunter player, so I'm assuming he's going to get the tributes. And so here, where you kill 4 wizards before you end up dropping a tribute, or you kill 4 wizards before you're able to drop a tribute, you actually need either your 1 hunter player, if you only have 1 hunter player, to do 2 trips, because they can only hold 3 tributes. Or if you have 2 hunter players, then you can have each of them grab 2, or have one grab 3 and the other grab 1, etc., etc. So we're just going to wait for a new wizard to spawn. The tribute bear has arrived, and it's right on top of us, which is super easy. And if you're the Warlock player, do your best to avoid picking up the Tribute, because obviously you don't want to get it because you can't go invisible. But if you do accidentally pick up the Tribute, you can have your Hunter player make you invisible, and then you can obviously go dunk it while you're invisible. We have a new Shrieker up because we completed a plate, so Shrieker's going to be the next focus. And then we can move over to the left side to start taking out all the enemies over there, after we take care of all these champions first. You could theoretically stay on the right side, I suppose, if you wanted to. So Unstop Ogre's dead, which is really nice. And now we're just going to work our way down on the Tribute Bearers. Remaining in the back corners of the room, playing safe. I know it's very repetitive, but it is truly the best way to play this area. And I'm last Guardian standing, because we had both die, unfortunately. But I'm the Invis Hunter, so it's not a big deal. And even if you are the last Guardian standing, again, you can just run back out to this area. You're perfectly safe. And since I'm the Invis Hunter, it's a piece of cake. Just get this Invis like this. Make him invisible. Go find an enemy to dodge next to get my smoke back. Actually, my other teammate's going to grab him, so it's fine. We have a Barrier Knight on right side as well. Although, I wouldn't worry too much about killing all the champions and getting platinum, because apparently it's kind of bugged right now. I can't 100% confirm that it is, but in my first run of this, I felt like we definitely killed all of the champions, and we got gold, and I've heard similar sentiments from a lot of other players who have done this. So I don't know if it's bugged at the moment, and it's only possible to get gold, or if there's just a champion that we're not killing or something like that, but I wouldn't worry a crazy amount about killing the champions. Looks like I had a finishable Hive Guardian, so I might as well go ahead and squish it real quick. But just to test, I mean, we might as well. If we come over here to right side, let's focus down this Barrier Knight real quick, just to guarantee that we do have all the champions dead. Make sure that's not another Barrier Knight. I do not believe the Hive Guardians count towards Platinum. They could, I suppose, but they don't count towards Platinum in Grandmaster Lightblade. So I don't really see why they would count towards Platinum here. Is kind of my logic, but I suppose anything's possible when you're playing a Bungie game. Destiny 2 has no bugs. So I'm just working my way, chipping away at this Barrier Knight. I think my teammates are taking care of the other Knight over there. And I forgot, I'm usually a Mobius Quiver, so that's why I tried to go for a little melee there. Or not melee, I tried to use my super a second time, because I thought it would shoot a second burst and kill him, but forgot I was on Deadfall. So now that he's dead and taken care of, we'll come back here, start working on these wizards again. The tributes do despawn as well, as you can see. I was able to get that one in time though, thankfully. And I'm just gonna try and keep my teammates safe with invisibility. He's in a well though, so he's probably fine either way. Get a finisher, that'll give me another tributes, wherever it went. I think my teammate might have gotten it, so I'll dunk this one, and then my teammate will probably dunk the other one, assuming he was the one who picked it up. Yep, and then once you dunk the last tribute, everything should despawn, and you should get a ton of acolytes. I'm pretty sure everything should despawn. Maybe not. Yeah, there we go. Everything will despawn except for the acolytes, rather, sorry. So, kill a few acolytes if you have them left, and then that's definitely one of the more annoying rooms, but if you play it slow and methodically and stand in those particular positions, you'll be in good shape. And then, of course, you can refill your heavy ammo and your special ammo right there. Now, this upcoming room is kind of interesting because there is a Shrieker that infinitely respawns behind you, which sounds really, really bad. But there's a particular way that you can play it that I'll show you that makes it a lot safer, and I believe potentially makes it so that you don't even have to deal with the Shrieker in any capacity. I've only tested this once, but I'm going to test it again live right here just to double check and see what happens. So we're going to roam our way down. We have these two unstoppables that we'll obviously kill first. Try and help out our friend before they bite the dust. Oops. Oh, they got killed. Unfortunate. Well, I tried to save them. A little finisher. I'm probably gonna get stomped here. Never mind. My teammate stunned him. Okay. So once we kill this guy, we want to immediately backtrack. Because, or actually, I think you do have to send one player forward a little bit to trigger the spawn of the wizard. But you can have your other 2 players backtrack. Once you get that checkpoint update, we can Coruscant Thronebringer. You're going to see that you have a Shrieker that spawns right behind you. So I like to kill the Shrieker initially, because it's going to open up on you. But what I noticed in my first run is if we do not touch the Shrieker that permanently respawns, it just won't open. And we can just sit back here and map Coruscant from distance. So if we just don't do anything, even though the Shrieker's right there, as long as we don't touch it, it should not open up, and you can sit back here and you can map Coruscant infinitely. It looks like putting down a Well of Radiance got its attention, because I guess it like hurt us or something like that. But as long as you don't shoot at it, pretty sure it just never pays attention to you. Well, maybe with the Well of Radiance down, it will always pay attention to us. But it's not a big deal. It's just a red bar Shrieker. It dies pretty quickly. And you'll just sit here and continuously map the wizard. You have to get her to about 3/4 HP. I'm curious once the well goes away, which is right now, if now the Shrieker will stop paying attention to us. Because I noticed in my other runs, when we did not have a Well of Radiance, the very first run I did was Triple Hunter, the Shrieker just never did anything. Which, as you can see now, it looks like it's kind of being a little more shy, like I thought it would be. So you can just sit back here and you'll never have to deal with the Shrieker, ever. Well, isn't that fantastic? Perfect to have the Shrieker contradict me right in the middle of making my guide. Now I look like a dummy. But no, I mean, undeniably, it seems like the Shrieker is slower to open up if you don't mess with it, if you don't initially shoot at it. So keep firing off at that wizard, and then once you do see the Shrieker open up, you can blow it up real quick. All 3 players shooting an arrow at it real fast will kill it. It's a red bar Shrieker. It's not particularly tanky, so good in that department. Boss room. For the boss room, I say every single player, except for a designated Invis Hunter, should stay on this spawn platform pretty much the entire time. You'll notice if you hop down to get back up on the spawn platform, you hop on this little ledge right here, which gives you a turning back. But then if you jump up on top of here, the turning back goes away. So don't panic if you're jumping from this platform over to there and you get the turning back. Once you get up top all the way, you are totally good to go. So I noticed that for the initial phases of the boss, being up here was super safe and super easy. It is definitely not the fastest way to kill the boss, so if you're confident in your team's abilities to just kind of walk up and survive and not be concerned about the ads or anything like that, if you're confident that you can just survive regularly in that room, feel free to just walk up. And you'll probably have a faster time killing the boss, but as you can see from back here with the Well of Radiance, and we'll want to kill a few Acolytes as well to get that Well of Radiance back a little more quickly. Maybe drop a tether as well to make some orbs, get a little extra damage on the boss, which it seems I missed, so, you know, whatever. But hanging out back here is definitely going to be your safest option, undoubtedly. So if you're only in this to get your 1 clear for your Gilded Conqueror node or your Conqueror node, and then, you know, you don't ever plan to revisit this, I'd honestly just recommend hanging out back here because it's so ridiculously safe. And if you have a shoot to loot energy hand cannon, which if you don't, it's completely fine. It's not required by any means for this. But if you do, it can also feel really nice because you can pull out your linear. If you can aim it, unlike me. Oh my, that's embarrassing. But obviously, if you generate ammo from these trash mobs, you can use your shoot to loot hand cannon to shoot the heavy bricks and pick them up from all the way back here. Yeah, that was that aim was not looking good. So once we get that boss to 2/3 HP, it'll despawn. It'll spawn the Synaptic Spear, I believe it's called, in the middle of the arena, along with the Savathun, which is definitely the most lethal part of this strike. And I'm not 100% sure on this, but this is what I noticed when I ran it the first time. Oh yeah, you have an Encephaloker too. I noticed that it seemed the lower Savathun's HP bar got, the further up she advanced into the arena. So with no damage on Savathun yet, I'm pretty sure it's literally impossible for you to hit you, for her to hit us all the way back here. Maybe with her regular ranged lightning attack she can hit us, but you'll see that coming from a mile away. But just the lightning strikes, I'm pretty sure it's completely impossible for her to ever hit you with those from back here. So we'll drop the champions from all the way back here first, and then we're going to clean up some of the trash as much as we can. I believe the enemies, the trash mobs, spawn infinitely, but their spawns are pretty slow. So if you clean up everything, then you can make the arena pretty safe to advance in, which you'll see why is important in a sec. So we're just going to chip away at all these mobs, especially the knights. See an acolyte rounding that corner there. Perfect. And you don't have to have every single one dead, but get most of them dead. And then what we're going to do is, oh, one more knight. Wait for him to turn the corner again, then we'll blast him. The outspawns might be based on HP as well. That is another possibility. Oh, there's a ton of acolytes right down there. Let's see if we can pop with a grenade. Oh, what a beauty. And then there's the knight spinning around. It's okay. We'll deal with them later. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to invis all of my teammates. Oh yeah, they do seem to spawn infinitely, but very little. And now I'm going to invis all my teammates, and we're going to push up and go for that spear. And I'll reapply invis once we get down here as well. And so we're all going to grab a spear, and then we're going to kind of run away. If you have Omnioculus, you can, or Omnioculus and tier 10 damage resistance, sorry, tier 10 resilience rather, you can survive a hit of her lightning strikes. Otherwise, they will one-shot you, but the combination of Omnioculus's 50% damage resistance in conjunction with tier 10 resilience, you can soak the lightning bolts. And from all the way back there, they can't even hit you anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and get this res real quick, make them invis, and then we can all go grab a new set of spears, and then back it up really far and continue hitting Zabathin. You can also, once you grab the spear, you can go all the way back to the spawn platform and throw them from the spawn platform if you'd like. It'll take you a lot longer because you have to grab a lot of spears. They only have 20 ammo and they run out passively as you're holding them. So, you know, you probably lose about... Oh my. Oh, actually, you know what? I think I forgot to mention something because I almost died. But I think if you throw the spear while you're airborne, it pushes you back a little bit. I actually kind of forgot that's a thing. But I guess I'll test it here. Maybe? I can't really tell. But be a little careful. You also have your jump goes a lot higher when you're holding the spear. But yeah, you can totally come up here if you want to and just throw the spear from here. Like I said, it'll take a little bit longer because you're going to have to continuously go back and forth and grab new spears. But it is by far the safest option if you want to play it that way. So again, since we have Invis Hunters, pretty easy to grab the spear. You can also, if you're confident in your Invis Hunter abilities and you're, you know, confident that you can pop a cooldown before you're ever in any serious danger, you can stay somewhere in this arena and hug some cover and stuff like that. But yeah. So that's Zabathin's dead. Oh, another thing too, you can if you hit grenade, you can blink while you're holding the spear. If you find that useful. When I've been running this rank, I never found that particularly useful, but yeah. So again, boss is back out, so we're gonna hop back to our spawn platform, play it safe. And I also found that sometimes the boss will kind of be a weenie and hide out, which can be remedied if you're impatient and you're in a rush. You can send your Invis Hunter player down into the arena to kind of coax the wizard into coming out and aggroing to you. Just obviously make sure that they have cooldowns on their invisibilities and know when to pop a cooldown if they get swarmed by enemies or if they're taking damage or something like that, because if they die, it's a scary situation to be in. Like I said, it's a very easy GM if you utilize these strategies, a very safe GM, but just very annoying because of how long you have to sit back here. The dangerous part of this GM is coming up here in a second when we have the 2 Sabathoons, which occurs when we get this guy to 1/3 HP, of course. So we're just waiting a little bit. So this is what I'm talking about with the boss kind of hanging out back there. So if I hop out up here and kind of aggro the boss a little bit, kind of say, hey, what's up? I can kind of coax it into coming out and fighting me, which obviously opens up the angle for my other 2 teammates to hit it really easily. But then obviously I got to make sure to be careful. Playing these walls right here. I also want to watch my back too, because there are going to be enemies on this platform So it's probably, you know, just make sure you're keeping an eye out, make sure you're not in a dangerous position, make sure you're not tunnel visioning on anything. So once again, boss is kind of hiding again, so I'm trying to lure it over here. You can also bring that Well of Radiance down here if you would like to. It's probably not the safest option. And again, these strategies are kind of all about safety because it's a very long and annoying GM, so wipe can feel very, very tiring. So there are many ways to speed this up, but this is definitely the safest way to do it, even if it is the longest. So we'll try to kill a bunch of trash mobs with this well so we can get as much back of it as possible with the Phoenix protocol. Oh, it just disappeared, unfortunately. But this is the part that's a little hard and a little dangerous. So first we'll take out this Blistered Ogre in the middle. And then we have 2 Synaptic Spears and 2 Savathûns. One over here on the left side and one over here on the right side. So the basic idea is we're going to kill every single enemy on the left side to make the left side as safe as humanly possible so that we can kill the left side Savathûn, which is the difficult part. Because she's going to be roaming around the left side, throwing Nova Bombs at you, doing lightning strikes at you, all that stuff. So that part's a little difficult. However, once you kill the left side Savathûn, that left spear stays, and you can cross-map the other one, as you'll begin to see. So you'll begin, this is where you probably want all 3 players to go over here. Again, if you want to play it safe, you can totally just have the Invis Hunter continuously use Invis cooldowns, grab the spear. It'll take a very long time, but it is the safest option. But we'll just kind of hang out over here, watch for the lightning strikes. I wonder if the well increases the spear damage. Doesn't seem like it does. So you'll just continually bomb spears at Savathûn. If you're the Invis Hunter, maybe sauce a quick Invis to give your teammates the Omnioculus damage resistance. And don't clump together. But yeah, I'm glad we wiped there because it's better for y'all to learn from my mistakes than to have to go and make the mistake yourself and cost yourself the run. So obviously in this part, she advances closer and closer as you throw the spears. So it's very, very important to make sure that you're staying split so that you're not all getting hit by the chain lightning attack. Another thing that you can do as well that I do want to note is that there is a little area that you can sit relatively safely right here in this door. There are like enemy doors here. I'm not entirely sure if enemies spawn through here. I haven't seen them ever spawn through here, but I mean, obviously if they ran out, you could easily just hit a quick dive. But another option you could do is just have 2 of your teammates go ahead and do the spears and have your invisible Omnioculus Hunter sit right here. And if either of them die, then you can just play as the team medic so that instead of having 3 people throwing the Synaptic Spears at all times, which is definitely a little more dangerous, you can just have 2 of them throw spears and have yourself be a team medic over here. So I'll go ahead and hit a quick little invis and try and get an eye on where the boss is so I'm not accidentally like running into a lightning beam. And then I can run up here. I can go ahead and pick up my teammate and then run straight away, and then I can go straight back to that safety room just to make sure that we never ever wipe. Because if all 3 of you are up there, there's a solid chance that you can, you know, get wiped out by the boss. Whereas if you have 1 person down there in that room, it seems a lot safer. Now, once you have that one aspect down, it is way easier to deal with the second aspect because, like I said, these spears remain on this side. This aspect cannot hit you in any capacity, and they will never walk over to you. So you can just sit over here and lob spears, and eventually you'll just cross-map them and kill them. And then, of course, when you run out of your spear, you just run on back, grab a new one. But you're completely safe. You're completely out of range from this Savathûn aspect. And it's okay if they go behind a pillar because the spears, as long as you get it in their general vicinity, will track to the boss. You just keep on lobbing until eventually dies, and then boom, once they're dead, hit the invis again, back to the spawn platform, and then we'll just slowly chip away at the boss again. There is one caveat, however, for the boss, because since the boss is a Lucent Hive Wizard, so Lucent Guardian, the boss will, of course, have a ghost that must be finished, just like in Ghosts of the Deep, so I'll show you all kind of how to deal with that. This time, once again, the boss will kind of poke out a little bit, but unless you have someone advance onto the arena, they might pop out and play shy. They'll poke out here and there, so if you want to be super patient and never send someone off the platform, poking away at the boss, and then I'll demonstrate as well if the boss goes and hides again. If the boss hides again. It seems that they're more aggro in their Stormcaller form. But you want to make sure not to kill the boss, so we're going to be very careful here. Because we have to obviously send someone to run up and crush the ghost. Hopefully I can make it in time. Yeah, it worked out. But yeah, so you want to send your Invis Hunter and communicate with your team a little bit earlier. Like, hey, leave them just one shot, and then as they're one shot, as you're moving up, then they can get the... like, I left after they already died, and I still was able to take it out. So, ended up working out. I guess it's not a big deal as long as you keep it in mind, but definitely keep in mind that you will have to finish off that Hive Ghost. I don't know what happens if you don't. And I'd rather not find out. So, good luck in your runs. I hope this helped. Please make sure to subscribe if it did, and have a great day.